So welcome to our online session and thank you all for being with us. I am Vicky Malotidi, Education Program Officer of Mediterranean Information Office and Network of MEDIS. This is the online session taking place within the UNESCO Program 2023 named Mediterranean Food, Our Legacy, Our Future. And before starting, I would like to give you some housekeeping notes. First of all, you can choose the language that you prefer from the bottom bar. For today's session, we have Greek and English. Please keep your microphones muted while the speakers are presenting. You are very welcome to pose your questions in the chat. We have reserved some time at the end of the panelists in order to answer and reflect on your questions and remarks. And speakers are kindly requested to keep the time. They have 15 minutes in their available. So without taking further ado, let's go to present to you our panelists for today. We have with us Ms. Katerina Christodoulou, an SPNet school educator, Greek educator, officer at the European and International Programs Office of the Directories of Secondary Education of Piraeus. She's a UNESCO individual expert. Then our second panelist is Professor Mohamed Ftouhi. He's a professor, emeritus professor of environment and development at the University of Mohammed V of Rabat in Morocco. He's an expert in environmental education pedagogy and also president of the Moroccan Club of Environment and Development, CMED. Ms. Salama Namani is here today with us as well. She has studied agricultural science and engineering, and she works at the Makhzoumi Foundation since its establishment. She's a manager of environment and development programs and advisor to the president. And last but not least, we will actually start our session with a welcome remark by Ms. Vera Dilari. Vera Dilari is the national coordinator of the SPNet schools in Greece. So thank you all for being today with us. It's a great pleasure. Ms. Vera Dilari, the floor is yours to give us a welcome opening. Thank you.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ, Βίκη. Ευχαριστώ και για την ευκαιρία που μου δίνετε σήμερα να κάνω μια εισαγωγή σε ένα πολύ ενδιαφέρον και αγαπημένο θέμα. Η αφορμή δόθηκε από τον οδικό που έχει εκδώσει το MEDIS για τη μεσογειακή διατροφή και που θεωρείται ένα όχημα για την προώθηση του διαπολιτισμικού διαλόγου και την αειφορία, ένα πολύ ενδιαφέρον εργαλείο. Πριν ξεκινήσω, να πω ότι η συνεργασία μας με το MEDIS ξεκινάει από χρόνια σε διαφορετικά πεδία και να πω και μια καλησπέρα στην αγαπητή Σαλάμα που έχω να τη δω πολλά χρόνια. Η σκέψη μου να συμμετάσχουμε και εμείς σε αυτό το σεμινάριο σήμερα και με εκπαιδευτικούς οι οποίοι εκπονούν σχετικά προγράμματα, αλλά και με την Κατερίνα Χριστοδούλου που μέσα από τη συμμετοχή της στο ESPNet και την πολύ ενδιαφέρουσα δουλειά που έχει κάνει, σήμερα είναι individual expert για την UNESCO για το θέμα αυτό. Θα ήθελα λοιπόν να δώσω μία διάσταση στη μεσογειακή διατροφή, η οποία από το 2013 έχει εγγραφεί αρχικά στο Εθνικό Ευρετήριο της Ελλάδας και στη συνέχεια στον αντιπροσωπευτικό κατάλογο για την άειλη πολιτιστική κληρονομιά της ανθρωπότητας ως ένα στοιχείο άειλης πολιτιστικής κληρονομιάς. Η πρόταση αυτή υποβλήθηκε σαν ένα εμβληματικό στοιχείο από 7 κοινότητες από την Κύπρο, την Κροατία, την Ισπανία, την Ελλάδα, την Ιταλία, το Μαρόκο και την Πορτογαλία, χώρες γύρω από τη Μεσόγειο. Στο δελτίο που υπάρχει στην ιστοσελίδα του Υπουργείου Πολιτισμού, στη Διεύθυνση Νεότερης Πολιτιστικής Κληρονομιάς, Το δελτίο που έχει υποβληθεί, μπορείτε διατρέχοντάς το να δείτε γιατί έχει θεωρηθεί ως ένα στοιχείο IELTS και γιατί αυτό είναι σημαντικό. Εμείς σαν δίκτυο σχολείων συνδεδεμένων με την UNESCO, που έχουμε τη δυνατότητα να συμμετέχουμε σε πιλωτικά προγράμματα και πρωτοβουλίες, είχαμε τη χαρά να συμμετάσχουμε σε ένα πολύ ενδιαφέρον πρόγραμμα και της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης και της UNESCO, ένα κοινό πρόγραμμα, που μέσα από αυτό είδαμε πώς μπορούμε όχι απλά να μαθαίνουμε για την άλλη πολιτιστική κληρονομιά, τη ζωντανή κληρονομιά, αλλά πώς μπορούμε να διδάσκουμε και με ένα στοιχείο IELTS. Η Κατερίνη Χριστοδούλου επελέγει για αυτό το πρόγραμμα να συμμετάσχει. Ήταν 10 χώρες ευρωπαϊκές, σημεία η Ελλάδα, ακριβώς επειδή είχε ήδη τρέξει ένα πρόγραμμα που είχε σχέση με τη μεσογειακή διατροφή. Θελήσαμε λοιπόν αυτό που εμείς γνωρίζουμε να το δώσουμε και σε λοιπούς συναδέλφους και από άλλες χώρες και εκπαιδευτικούς, γιατί είναι πραγματικά εξαιρετικό εργαλείο για την τάξη, για τον εκπαιδευτικό. Η Κατερίνα θα σας το δείξει αυτό μέσα από την παρουσίασή της και επειδή στη συνέχεια θα χρειαστεί να αποχωρήσω λόγω άλλης ανηλυμένης υποχρέωσης, εάν υπάρξουν ερωτήσεις σχετικά με αυτά που σας είπα, η Κατερίνα είναι σε θέση να τις απαντήσει. Οπότε λοιπόν σας ευχαριστώ και πάλι, ακόμη μια συνεργασία και είμαστε γενικότερα στη διάθεσή σας ως δίκτυο συνδεδεμένων σχολείων της UNESCO να σας μιλήσουμε ακόμη περισσότερο για αυτό το πρόγραμμα που σας είπα, το κοινό Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης και UNESCO στο πλαίσιο της διάχυσης όλης αυτής της εξαιρετικής καλής πρακτικής. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ και Βίκη και Ηρώ και όλοι οι αγαπημένοι φίλοι στο Μέντις και σας δίνω το λόγο να συνεχίσετε και να προχωρήσετε στην ανάλυση περισσότερο αυτού που λέμε μεσογειακή διατροφή και που είναι τόσο ενδιαφέρον. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ κυρία Δηλάρη ακόμα μια φορά για την υποστήριξη και τη συνεργασία. So the floor now is for Ms. Christodoulou to present us this very interesting project, an ASP.NET project dedicated to Mediterranean food and diet. Ms. Christodoulou, over to you.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Vera, for your kind words. I guess you can see my screen, yes? Is it okay?
Yes, we can see your screen very, very well.
Okay. Now, let me try. Unfortunately, I can't, for some reason, switch it to F5, so we'll have to go like this. Is that okay with you?
There's no problem.
I'm trying, but for some, okay, yes, finally. All right, okay, so I'm here to present the MED project. You have already introduced me to the audience, so let's move on. The MED project is actually using a holistic view and the whole school approach to teaching with the ICH element Mediterranean diet, linking the element to UNESCO ASP.NET educational priorities, education sustainable development, global citizenship education, also to the 17 development goals, using transformative learning and systems thinking as approaches to teaching, and also, of course, using the whole school approach to sustainability. This was a project that was implemented at our school, Rally Ogέλθη Leon Pirea, which is a member of the UNESCO ASP.NET Associated Schools. It is a program that was co-funded by Erasmus Plus in the framework of the project Roots, reinventing the Roots to outdoor-oriented education and sustainability, and it was awarded the 2018 European Year of Cultural Heritage label. So let me move on. Before I start linking all these things that I just mentioned, let us have a look at the description of the Mediterranean diet as an ICH element from the ICH UNESCO site. So the Mediterranean diet involves a set of skills, knowledge, rituals, symbols, and traditions concerning crops, harvesting, cooking, sharing, consumption of food. Eating together is the foundation of the cultural identity and continuity of communities. It's a moment of social exchange and communication. It emphasizes values of hospitality, neighborliness, intercultural dialogue, and creativity. It plays a vital role in cultural spaces, festivals, and celebrations. It includes craftsmanship and production of traditional receptacles. Women safeguard its techniques and transmit the values of the elements to new generations. And finally, markets also play a key role as spaces for cultivating and transmitting the Mediterranean diet. I guess the linkages to everything I mentioned earlier are quite obvious. It is linked to 5 or 6 of the 17 SDGs: zero hunger, good health and well-being, climate action, reduced inequalities, life below water, life on land, and responsible consumption and production. It is also linked to all 3 UNESCO ASP Net educational priorities: ESD when it comes to the cultivation and the consumption of food, global citizenship education when it comes to getting together, and intercultural learning, because in essence the proposal was put forward by 7 countries anyway. We used transformative learning methods, the knowledge, skills, attitudes, lesson plans that were designed, and of course the whole school approach, and I will come to that a bit later. The project was implemented with 2 classes, 50 students altogether, 16 to 17 years old, their level of English intermediate, B2, B2+. In 2017 and 18 at Rallio, I mentioned the name of the school earlier as well. In the framework of the Erasmus KA2 project, with 5 schools from Iceland, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, okay, Greece, we are the 5th one, and all of us are members of the Health Promoting Schools Network in Europe. What we did was to take an interdisciplinary approach to teach with the element in the subjects that you can see: English as a foreign language, project research, that used to be a subject in the Greek curriculum, computer classes, biology, mathematics, and social science and economic. And also we had a field trip at a farm of organic and regenerative agriculture. Now let's see how we did that. I am a teacher of English, and I also used to teach the research project subject as well. So in our English classes, first of all, we worked on 2 texts. The first text was What is ICH? A reading text adapted from the UNESCO ICH site. And also the second text was the nomination text for the element, again adapted from the same site, to serve the aims and objectives of the national curriculum for reading skills, to develop students' reading skills, vocabulary skills, etc. Now, with the same classes at the second subject, research project, we focused. Our basic topic was, are we really what we eat? And we focused on 3 research questions with both groups. So all in all, there were 6 groups of 4 students in both classes that I mentioned earlier. The 3 research questions were the health benefit of the Mediterranean diet, fast food and obesity, and a questionnaire on eating habits, which was written in Greek and English, and it was distributed and answered by all the students of our school, but also our Erasmus Plus partner schools. Now, the second step was with computer classes. What happened was the students of those 2 classes, B1 and B2, processed the data from the questionnaire in their computer classes, and then on this data of the questionnaire were used as a case study in various problems and exercises for their statistics class. Also, there was a link to the health benefits of the Mediterranean diet and obesity and fast food. Our biology teacher was asked to design a particular specific lesson on what are vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, and how do they actually work? Because everybody says, eat your food, this is good food, but why is it good? How does it work inside the body? Also, there was a second lesson later on about overfishing and organic and plastic pollution at sea, since fish is a staple of the Mediterranean diet. Finally, we incorporated the ICH element Mediterranean diet in our science and economics classes. There were two basic questions there, two small projects that the students worked in this particular subject. Why are people hungry on the planet? Well, not everybody's hungry, but not everybody eats as well. And the second one was about, in economics, was about food waste. This was combined with a field trip. I'll come to that.
Sorry to interrupt you. A small request by our interpreters. Can you please slow down your pace?
Of course. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, then next, in our EFL class and research project combined, we wrote down a bilingual recipe book by the students after cooking with their parents or with their grandparents, including advice on how to buy the best ingredients and also including a calendar of in-season vegetables and fruit, to bring in the intergenerational element as well in our project. The best thing about this was that there was food sampling the following day during the breaks, and that was the most fun part. Okay, and so the day came in April when we received at the school our partners from the other 4 schools that we worked together on the project routes. So what happened during the reception, it was a Wednesday, in groups, the students planned the menu and cooked the dishes. They carried desks and chairs at the lobby to transform it into a dining area, as you can see, because in Greek schools, students don't have lunch. They have lunch at home, so there are no cafeterias, no restaurants. We had to devise one, which you can see here. Okay, they carried everything. They laid and decorated the tables. They organized the buffet that you can see here. They helped with the serving. Of course, as an intergenerational element, the Greek mothers were present everywhere. They distributed the recipes that were also written in English, and we organized the donation of the food that was not consumed on the spot under the No Food Waste initiative. We donated the food that was not consumed on the spot to the soup kitchen of the nearby church for our less privileged fellow citizens. And that happened on the Wednesday, and on, sorry, I forgot to mention that, of course, there was a celebration after the meal. And then on the Sunday of that week, we went on a field trip to a farm of organic and regenerative agriculture run by a social cooperative enterprise. We wanted to do 2 things. Number 1, to actually see how plants are planted, cultivated, get information from the farmers. And the second thing was to have a class of economics on social and cooperative enterprises. As you can see, there was an outdoor workshop on circular, regenerative, and organic farming and SCEs. The students planted crops themselves. Here you can see our own bed, our Erasmus bed. The photo was taken a few weeks later. We also had a picnic at the farm with dishes prepared by a local social cooperative enterprise with fruit and vegetables from the farm. And there was also a small market of local products organized again by the social cooperative enterprise, both for Greek students and teachers, as well as our guests, our Erasmus guests. Of course, there was assessment of the project by students and by teachers in all 5 schools across Europe. There was formative assessment in Greece through classroom work, final assessment with term tests and exams in the subjects that I mentioned earlier. Also, the projects were a form of assessment with rubrics, of course, And finally, there was a baseline questionnaire that was filled in by all Erasmus participants, teachers, and students. Now, regarding dissemination, this was quite a famous project. There was dissemination at national, European, international level. Vera Dilari already mentioned that this was the project we applied with and got accepted to the UNESCO EU pilot project, Teaching and Learning with Living Heritage. You can see the resource kit here. The Mediterranean diet was the case study on which the training workshop of the 6-step methodology to integrate ICH in school education, proposed in the guide that I just showed you, I was presented to teachers, UNESCO ASP.NET teachers from all over Greece, because it was a hybrid dissemination and teacher training event on the integration of ICH in school education, organized by the Directorate of Modern Cultural Heritage of the Ministry of Culture and the Directorate of European and International Affairs of the Ministry of Education. So this was actually the first interministerial cooperation event to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of the Convention for Intangible Cultural Heritage, and it is featured in the International Anniversary webpage. Also, it was the case study for the presentation of step 4 in the and of course it's included in the training material of the Training of Trainers workshop on intangible cultural heritage in education for the European branch of the UNESCO's global network of facilitators that took place in Sofia in Bulgaria from the 17th to the 19th of October last year, after special invitation by the UNESCO culture sector. A few days ago, it was presented at the Capacity Building Program for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in Italy. It's an online course organized by the Ministry of Culture of Italy and UNESCO. It was also presented after special invitation by UNESCO Culture Sector to the global online meeting UNESCO ASP.NET Change Initiative, which is a laboratory of ideas, pioneering innovative and creative approaches to translate global concepts into practice at the school level and to advance the transformation of education systems and policies. And last but not least, it was published in the UNESCO ESG newsletter of May 2023. You can see the title, you can see the page and the title of the article. Thanks to Vera Dilari, of course, who promoted not only our school, but another 2 schools under this article that was published in the newsletter. So that's it. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I went so fast earlier.
No problem. Thank you very much for your very, very interesting intervention and presentation. What a project, a super project. 2 key remarks from my end. It was amazing how you managed to combine interdisciplinarity on one hand and keeping this interactive, this participatory character of this project. And one more remark from me is how you've managed to bring in teens. We're talking about Likio. We're talking about secondary schools. We all know how hard it is to engage them in such projects, given their obligations, school obligations, or other things. So it's quite amazing how you managed to overcome this barrier.
Thank you very much for your comments, but the answer to this is integration. If you teach with, if you integrate it in your daily teaching practice, so they don't have to stay on longer, because we all know that they run after school to various extracurricular activities. And also, teenagers love food. Anyhow, they eat a lot. Okay, so I mean, the fact that it was about the Mediterranean diet was good, but also our second project that was The product of the UNESCO EU pilot workshop was on rebetiko, which is a form of music and dance. And again, they were very well, again through integration, and again, they were very much engaged, because who doesn't like dancing? So intangible cultural heritage is part of who we are, actually, and that's why it's engaging for teenagers too. It gives them, it brings variety into school. It makes things interesting because it is a system. Elements are systems, such as the Mediterranean diet, and you can exploit this system from many different perspectives and angles.
And for sure, your project did that and showcased that. Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure that our participants would love to know where this resource kit, this guide, this resource can be found, if it is available online.
Yes, it is. I can send all the information to you when we finish, so I can even put it on the chat later on.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Christodoulou. And without further ado, now the floor is given to Professor Mohamed Ftouhi to bring in the Moroccan dimension of the Mediterranean food and diet. Professor Ftouhi, thank you very much for being here with us today. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vicky. I would like, first of all, to thank you, Eero, all the colleague speakers and all participants in this webinar. I would like, first of all, ask you to accept my bad English. I try to communicate. I don't know, because I sent to you my presentation. Could you please share with me my presentation? It's possible?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So you would like from us to share the presentation?
Yes, if possible.
Okay, we will do that.
Okay.
Just give me a couple of seconds to upload the presentation. So you can start, Professor Ftouhi, if you see the slide.
Yes, it's okay. For the next one, please. My contribution will give you an overview of our contribution in the project Sustainable Intercultural Deep Understanding of Food in the Mediterranean Area. The content, please, the next one. My contribution will focus on the following point. I will give you some idea about CMED, our organization, some characteristic of the Moroccan diet, the cultural importance related to the Moroccan, selected example of popular Moroccan dishes, and how CMED, our organization, has contributed to disseminate this project on the intercultural in the Mediterranean area. And I will finish with as conclusion. Next, please. Next, please. Okay. As you know, the Mediterranean food, although it's different from country to country, has overall common character and characteristic to feed, to provide family and social cohesion and joy. Food is kept outside of tension that existed and still exists between countries or ethnic groups in some part of our Mediterranean region. In Morocco, cuisine and diet are rich and varied. They reflect the history and the culture of Morocco as part of the Mediterranean culinary and the Mediterranean cultural in this area. Please, the next. Who is CMED? CMED is one Moroccan organization. He is, yes, Club Marocain pour l'Environnement et le Développement in French. The Moroccan Club of Environment and Development is a national organization working in the field of environment and development with focus on education for sustainable development. It is member of MIO and for RAID, Arab Network for Environment and Development, network of disaster reduction. CMED has participated in the Med Food project launched by MIO with some Land Foundation and has as dialogue through deeper understanding of the Mediterranean food. Our contribution has focused on DISC study, the Moroccan contribution, this to the elaboration of this educational tool or material, and also organizing some series of educational meetings targeting young in society and also media and also people in secondary school. And next, please. The next, please. The next, Vicky. Our objective is to raise awareness. The project CDMUF is a Mediterranean project who has as objective to promote dialogue between young and students in the area based on intercultural dialogue basing on the diversity of food and but the similarity on between countries in our Mediterranean area, and as main object in facilitating access and to sharing of intercultural. It's very important as component of education for sustainable development. The next, please. The next, please. Some characteristic of the Moroccan diet as presented in our study case. Moroccan cuisine is rich and it's influenced by different sources and culture, including Arabic, Andalusian, Berber, and Mediterranean. It is also influenced by Morocco climate and also natural. An important role in Moroccan culture. It is often shared among friends, associated with the special events such as event. It serves also a symbol of hospitality, generosity, and common bonding. The next, please. The next, Vicky. Always in the characteristic of the Moroccan diet, the Moroccan diet is traditionally based on cereal, vegetable oil, olive oil, and dairy products. It's common to the Mediterranean area. Meat is often eaten, veal, chicken, or fish, but in moderate quantity. Other region of the world, spices are also used to flavor dishes, as you show from this picture below. The next, please. The next. Okay. Alors, the cultural importance of family and friends. Food is often shared among friends and family through this kind of foods, and is often seen as a way to strengthen social cohesion. Meals are often an opportunity to get together and to spend time with all friends and colleagues. The importance of a special event. Food is often associated with special event such wedding and traditional festivity and wedding, and also the meeting of the community. Please, the next. The next one. The cultural importance related to the Moroccan diet also is reflected by the importance of spices. Spices Morocco cuisine to flavor dishes. The most common spices are paprika, ginger, and cinnamon. The importance of tradition Morocco cuisine is traditionally used in different festivity, as you can see from this picture. Please. I would like to give you, share with you some example of the popular Moroccan diets. From this, I can propose couscous. Very well is the dish of steamed wheat semolina, served with variety of vegetable, meat, or fishes. All these ingredients are common in the Mediterranean area. Tagine also is a dish cooked in generally made with vegetable and with some cereals. Please. Next one, please. Also, we can propose as popular Moroccan dishes pastilla. Pastilla is and sweetened dish. It is popular, and it reflects a sort of if you have a very important guest, you can propose for him pastilla for them. Also, you have harira, a traditional Moroccan soup made with the lentil and with different the next one, please. The next one, please. Also, you have msemmen. Msemmen is the it's very important, and we will serve with honey, with butter, and it's souvent, often it's eaten in the morning or in the end of the day. It is a popular, and you have it's eaten with the tea that we use during all the days, and also during the festivity and during the meeting with friends, with the family. Next, please. Next, please. How we of this common intercultural and food in the Mediterranean area. We tried first to contribute in the content of the educational manual by our case study. Please, the first one. The next one. The next one. This is the content of the manual. We try to translate it in Arabic and in French, and you have all elements of the content. I have not all the content because you know this one. We can move to the other, please, to the other to the other page, please. Also, it's the same. It's the content of the book of the education. The next one, and what's very important. Before this one. Before this one, Vicky. Before this slide. Last one. Vicky. Yeah. Yes, this is very important. We have organized a big workshop to media, to professor, to teacher, and to journalist to present the project CDMF, and we have one professor from the University of Cairo in Egypt, and we have more than 50 participants to discuss about this common food in the Mediterranean, and how we can reinforce dialogue, how we can reinforce education for sustainable development through this common characteristic of the food in the Mediterranean area. This is a big organized. I excuse for the maybe it's not good. And as conclusion, Morocco is rich and varied, that not reflect the history and the culture of Morocco, but also the common of the Mediterranean, it is a cuisine. It is a cuisine that is appreciated all over the world, and it is part of the common and the shared traditional dishes based on oil, cereal, legume, fruit in the Mediterranean area. The next one, please. The next one. The next, Vicky. The next, Vicky. No, please.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. There were some breaks within your presentation. Just give me a second to share it again.
No.
Is this the slide that you...
After this, there is another. You have
Next.
you have nothing. Okay, okay.
The next one is the one with the
Okay, yes. I would like finally to thank you. I welcome you to test the Moroccan and Mediterranean foods and learn about the riches of its culture and culinary diversity. I ask you to excuse my bad English, and I hope that in chat with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ftouhi. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear you very well. There were some small breaks within your presentation. Maybe it was my thing. Thank you very much for giving us an overview of a CDUMF project, so there is no need to do it on my own. Thank you for highlighting all these very nice things on Moroccan local cuisine and giving us this short journey around the Mediterranean diet and the Moroccan highlights as well. So without further ado, we move to our next speaker. It's my pleasure to give the floor to Salama Namani from Makhzoumi Foundation. So Salama, the floor is yours. Thank you very much again for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Vicky. Thanks to you. And it's been quite some time since we met. Hello, Iro and Olga, and I was glad to see Vera as well, Dr. Ftouhi, and all the colleagues. We'd like to present now Makhzoumi Foundation a little bit, just quickly, that we are a foundation that aims, it was established in '97, aiming to empower individuals all over the country, irrespective of the religion, region, and sect. We serve all the Lebanese through 4 main programs. We have a health program, vocation training, microcredit, and of course the environment and development program, of which I'm in charge. So our services, we cover 14 out of the 17 SDGs through all our services. As for ESG, you know, we had the implemented projects funded by the EU, and it was in cooperation with MIO, whereby we trained youth, and we prepared also an ESG kit that was distributed to all the schools in Lebanon. And we are honored to be a member with the MIO since quite a long time, and with other networks as well. So I'm going to present now an overview about the Lebanese cuisine, the Lebanese diet and cuisine. Sorry, the next. So Lebanon is located in the Levant area, of course, at the east part of the Mediterranean. So the Lebanese cuisine, the food, it has ancient roots, which has been influenced by various foreign civilizations or powers which occupied the area. The Levant's impact was mostly through the use of spices, mainly oregano, which we still use till now abundantly. And we have 2 main dishes which are rooted in the ancient Levantine cuisine, which are the manouchi, this to the left, which is like a pizza, but we call it the Lebanese pizza. It's made with oregano, this spice that we like very much, with oil also. And the hummus to in the middle, it is chickpeas that we make it like a paste with tahini, which is made from sesame oil, and we use it abundantly in our dishes. Second, sorry. So in the last 500 years, the influence was mostly through the Ottomans, whereby the lamb was a bit emphasized more as the preferred meat. The string of vegetables, like we see here, the vine leaves and squash and eggplant, also peppers and so on, like in other Mediterranean countries, it became very common. And the dark coffee, which became also part of our heritage. The French, after the Ottoman Empire left, the French ruled Lebanon for some time, and also they introduced some food, mainly in pastries and desserts. The croissant, which is very famous, French. We in Lebanon, we modified it a bit using this oregano, the za'atar. So it's very common everywhere in Lebanon to see the croissant, za'atar croissant. Now, the basic ingredients of our diet are very similar, of course, to the Mediterranean diet, with the emphasis on whole grains, legumes, fresh fruits, vegetables, a lot of fish, herbs and spices, as we said now. And we have the cracked wheat, which is bulgur, that we use it in many, many dishes, especially the tabbouleh. We have also the frike. I will show you now photos after this slide. Poultry is usually preferred over meat now, with lamb and goat as well as the choices. As for the dairy, we have the labne, which is very common. It is yogurt that is strained, so it becomes like a cream. Plus, we have several local dishes that we produce. Something is called the shanklish from yogurt, the dried yogurt. Now, the goat we make from out of goat milk. We make labne as well, like balls. I will show you the photo. It's a bit acidic. And most dishes, you know, we use a lot of olive oil, garlic, and lemon juice, and many spices. And our cuisine is very diversified, actually. There are options for omnivores, options for vegetarians, and a wide variety, actually, of vegan-friendly foods. Here we can see, this is the goat labne to the left. To the right, it is the cow yogurt, labne, made into labne. Down there, we have this frike, the wheat, which is cooked as a savory dish, and the burghul, which we use also in many dishes. So right after that, we have many ingredients which are typical. We use them a lot in our food. We have the sumac, which is like a spice that is a bit acidic, which is actually mixed with the dried oregano and with some sesame. This we use it for the manouche that we showed you, the one like the pizza. Then we have the rose, the damask rose. It's grown in very wide areas, and especially in the north. It is very much used. We distill the water we take out of it. It's made by the rose petals. We make rose water that is used in many sweet dishes and others, especially in the north and in other parts of the country. Similarly, we also distill the orange blossom, that of the sour orange, and we use it a lot in sweets as well, and in something in Lebanon we call it the white coffee, the café blanc, which is we put in a small cup boiled water with a bit of this orange blossom water, which is very good, and it's digestive. Also, as we see down, there's the pomegranate molasses, which is made from the pomegranate juice, but thick, and it is used in several dishes as well. The tahini paste is made from ground sesame seeds, as we said, and it is also used in savory and in sweet dishes. And we have other, like the tarator now, down, also we make it from tahini. Next, please. Here we see the rose water and the orange blossom water, and the down is the tahini that is used in several sauces and dishes, like we saw with chickpeas. It's also used with eggplant. Now, similar to many Mediterranean countries, in Lebanon we have the mezze, which is typically consists of a few dishes, but in restaurants it can be reached, I mean, very high numbers of variated dishes. It can reach up to 60 maximum, whereby we start. They are starters, and they are mainly made, it's a variety of hot and cold dishes, like the tabbouleh, which is made from the parsley and onion and tomato, and the burghul as well. Fattoush is another salad that we use it, but without the burghul. Hummus, as we said, baba ghanoush, which is the eggplant with the tahini. Then we have the kibbeh, it's a meatball, it's kafta also, falafel. And as we said, we have the stuffed, we stuff grape leaves and pickles. We have also roasted nuts, olives, and so many, a variety of dishes. In addition to the meze, the main dishes, there are many dishes which are constituted of meat and chicken and so on, and a lot of stews. We have that we make out of vegetables with meat or with a chicken, or even without them. It could be vegetarian. We put beside it rice, usually cooked rice, boiled rice, or sometimes with to the left, it's with sha'iriyya, we call it. In addition to the rice, there is something made from wheat. They are like vermicelli, like a very thin macaroni that are fried and used with the rice. As for our breads, we have the pita bread, which is similar to the Greek one, but it is flatter. It's thin, very thin. It's widely popular. Everybody uses it in most of the dishes. And we have the taboon, which is cooked in a special oven. We have the markouk to the right, which is very, very thin bread that is cooked on a sage. In the middle, you can see like a pan. It's a big pan made of metal that is heated. This is very old tradition. So the dough is put above it, and it is spread all over to make those very tasty thin sheets of bread. Our desserts were also influenced by the Ottoman cuisine to an extent. We have the baklava. We have others as well that are used with the semolina. We use a lot of semolina. We have the knefe. Knefe, it's not, it's typically Arabic. It's not Ottoman. To the left, it is made also from semolina and cheese that is not salty, that we remove the salt from it. And we add to it the syrup or honey. And this is served hot, usually, or sometimes as a dessert at the end of the dishes the food. Now, in Lebanon, we have strong attachments to families and traditions, whereby we eat a lot together. We have a lot of parties, feasts during the feasts, and many times they are accompanied by music, by local music. And as we mentioned as well, the concept of the meze is the Mediterranean tradition of sharing food and having conversations, having a good time together is very, very often done. We have a local phrase that literally translates, we say, between us, we have bread and salt. We would be speaking about somebody. This someone to mention that he or she are very close to us. Our relation is very warm and very trustful. We say we have bread and salt between us. So we share food together, which means we are on very good terms. The food plays, of course, diverse roles in everyday life in Lebanon. There are initiatives like local markets, a lot of local markets now that bring farmers together. They come from rural areas. They bring their produce to be sold, especially in Beirut. Some of them have become permanent, and some of them are still once or twice per week, whereby people can come and they wait. They wait for them to come to buy this organic food and this healthy food stuff and local dishes. Now, our religious events and our feasts, we have special foods as well. You know, in Lebanon, we have a lot of, we have around 18 sects, I mean, but the main two religions are Islam and Christianity. They all have special foods associated with them. For instance, for Epiphany, we call it Ghtas. There's a special sweet called zlabye. They make it out of a dough, and which is fried. I will show you a photo right after this one. It is immersed in oil and in sugar syrup, symbolizing the baptism of Jesus Christ. During Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan, whereby the Muslims fast, in the iftar also there are certain traditions that usually they start with the soup, because you know people fast during the day and then they eat at sunset. So usually it starts with a lentil soup, or it starts even better sometimes with a date, where they take one or more a day, then the lentil soup mostly, and other soups as well. Then the dishes, the fattoush, our traditional salad also is enjoyed. Then we have a meal. Afterwards, you have a coffee, and you have a special dessert for Ramadan, which is called killaj. It is made from a very thin dough that is stuffed with the cream, something like cream, and with syrup as well. A photo will be shown like afterwards. Yes, here down you have this zlabye that they call for Epiphany. To the right is the killaj, and it is served hot. This killaj, it's very tasty and served hot. And up we have the dish, which is made from rice and chicken with a lot of nuts. That is mostly in all feasts. It is used at Easter and Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha. Usually, it is the main dish around which the whole family gathers and shares this. Now, after for the Eid, also we have the ma'moul. This photo, it is a very known sweet. It is also during our feast, Easter and Eid, and it is filled. It's a kind of a semolina dough that is filled with dates, with walnuts, or with pistachios, with several condiments, and it is usually covered with icing sugar. And we have special ka'kalaid, which is another like the ma'moul, but it's a bit different. That people wait till the feast to eat them. Now there are certain foods which are when a baby is born. This is a very Lebanese tradition. It's also maybe in the Middle East. It's called mirgli. Mirgli, it is made from rice powder and sugar. Then it is flavored with spices, mainly caraway and cinnamon. And on top, this one, it is to the left. On top of it, we put raw nuts, a mix of raw nuts and some coconuts, if someone wishes. And this is very healthy, and this is typically pure vegan. There's no fat, no animal product whatsoever. Similarly, we have the snayniye to the right. When the baby's first tooth comes up, so there's also a celebration, and people prepare this snayniye, which is made from wheat that is boiled, along with berries, with some raisins sometimes, and a mix of nuts. In the middle, we have this sweet, which is called snubriye. Snubar is pine seeds. That is usually offered during the celebrations when someone is engaged, during the engagement celebrations. Now, as for the environment, well, the Lebanese cuisine, it embraces, we can say, environmental sustainability. Many in the recent years, many restaurants are being, you know, eco-friendly. That the remains of food are changed into compost. They compost them. They send the bottles and the containers to recycling factories, and many times they use the upcycling plastics and glass also for the decoration of their restaurants. And they also prioritize locally sourced products and organic food as well. And these type of restaurants are on the rise. They are increasing, and people are really appreciating this. especially to minimize the impact of the environmental, to preserve our environment. This is an example of a restaurant here to the left with several, you see several upcycled items. And to the right, it's one of the restaurants also that serves only organic food that they grow in their garden. And the food is all organic. Now, we as Maktoum Foundation, as we said, in the environment and the development program, we hold several workshops on several topics. So we hold on making food preserves, on this distillation, like we see down, as we said, to distill the rose and the orange blossom mainly. And also we teach about local sweets and new agricultural techniques whenever needed. Now we have also a nursery, a plant nursery in the north, in Akkar, whereby we plant ornamentals and fruit trees and herbs and flowers. Among them, we have the bitter orange, from which we can make the orange blossom, the pomegranate, where we can make, as we said, the molasses as well. And within our ongoing projects and our timely projects, we always emphasize on the sustainability. We prepared a very nice documentary on sustainable production and consumption, which gives tips and hints to people to be more sustainable in their everyday lives. Now, our beneficiaries, our target groups that participate at the workshops, since the last couple of years, we created something, an initiative called Handy by MF, which helps them to market their products, either in exhibitions or online as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Salama. Thank you for this extended presentation over the cuisine of the Levante that is very, very popular, not only in Greece and within the Mediterranean, but I think worldwide. It's quite popular.
Yeah.
I think it's the case of the crossroads of cuisines, Arabic, Ottoman, Middle East. So it's a showcase of the sub-cuisines of the region.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your contribution. I know that time flies and many things have been highlighted from our distinguished panelists so far. So the last presentation is going to be given by me. I'm going to be very, very short actually, because many things have been already said about Mediterranean diet and food as a vehicle to promote intercultural dialogue. I think this is quite obvious so far. So while I'm sharing my screen, I hope you see it. Let's test the level of your tiredness now. So from 1 to 5, please write in the chat, how tired do you feel right now? If you are still there. I see I'm losing you. Okay. So I got the message. I'm going to be quite quick. I will not repeat the things that have been said. Yes, Mediterranean diet is in the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanities. The reason is obvious. What I would like to stress when it comes to its cultural potential is that currently we witness actually the survival of some local traditional production systems, either from agricultural, livestock, or processing, that do not use the so-called commercial species. It's taking place to a lesser extent, but it's quite noteworthy. And on the other hand, we also witness the survival of practices and their associated cultural elements. cultures, traditions, songs, customs that are quite interlinked with the traditional sub-cuisines within the whole region. So, yes. So when we go now to the contribution of the Mediterranean diet in order to address the environmental impact of food production and of food consumption. Again, in the chat, rate what do you think is the contribution of the Mediterranean diet in order to reduce the food system's footprint, the environmental impact of producing and consuming food, from 1 to 5. So I see in the chat a lot of 4s. Yes, I agree. 4s. Great. Okay. Okay, I lost my slides. Sorry for that. We are all aware of the key environmental impact of producing food. We are talking about depletion of natural resources, soil, water, biodiversity, energy, pollution of natural resources, of course, the huge issue of food waste and loss, health issues, GMOs, the tangible and intangible heritage that is in danger. So the Mediterranean diet, according to FAO, is quite corresponding to what a sustainable pattern, a pattern of a sustainable diet can be. According to FAO, the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, a sustainable diet is the one respectful of ecosystems and biodiversity, is acceptable, is fair and affordable, and of course, it's healthy. So the Mediterranean model is quite close to what we call a sustainable diet. And a 3-point that I would like to raise in this intervention is, okay, how can we engage now? How can we bring in students and youth in a project dedicated to Mediterranean food and diet? Again, write in the chat in a keyword or in 2 keywords, ideas on how to engage students in such a project, in such a learning initiative. Okay, I see in the chat. I'll give you a minute. Youth networks. I see Agroecology Europe Youth Networks. Networking, youth platforms. Yes, is an option. Contests, projects. Yes. So, in the last minutes, I will share with you the MEDI's actions about raising awareness and educating in relation to Mediterranean food and diet. This project was mentioned also by Professor Ftouhi because CMED was one of our partners. It was a 1-year project involving 5 countries, addressing some 300 participants, mostly teachers and non-formal educators, and the heart of the project was the creation of this handbook, already created in 5 actually languages, and a series of awareness-raising events in order to showcase the potential that Mediterranean food has, workshops, campaigns, seminars, and other things. Very quickly, this is the key product of our project, the handbook. In case that you're not familiar with it, it covers the typical Mediterranean food stuff in terms of a historical overview, in terms of the cultural elements linked to them, in terms of how they changed, how their production changed over the time, and what were the various influences from the other cultures and other people of the region to the production of the food, to the culinary practices, and so on, so forth. You can see here the contents, and the handbook dedicates the last chapters on the Mediterranean diet and health, on the environmental impact of food, and on the contribution again of Mediterranean food and diet patterns towards sustainable development. So last but not least, this handbook comes to complement an older educational resource that MEDIS developed. However, this was an activities guidebook, no theory at all. So if you would like, you can combine this new book with this learning kit actually, including 22 learning activities addressing to elementary and middle school students. I can share with all of you the links of these two learning resources because we do believe that for in a one or another way, also this older material remains, let's say, quite in time, because some things do not change. So if you combine this material with the new handbook, I think you will find it useful. So that's all from my end. I will stop share here. And for the 10 minutes, for the rest of the 10 minutes that we still have, and for those of you that you would like to raise a question or a remark or leave us a comment, the floor is yours. Let me check on the chat if there are any questions raised so far for our panelists.
A question earlier, Vicky, by Nikki Rose, who asked maybe if anyone of the panelists can share some thoughts how we can address the issues of chemical agriculture and GMOs, genetically modified food, in order to protect the Mediterranean diet.
Yes, does any from the panelists like to reflect on that?
Could I share some thoughts?
Of course.
When it comes to school, in order to raise awareness for students, we can always integrate the subject either in the subject of GMOs, and biochemicals, either in the specific lessons addressed to it, such as chemistry or biology, or through foreign languages and Greek language as well, by exploiting texts which will provide the information, the knowledge to the students, which can be then linked to a small project and a small experimental hands-on project, so that we can also formulate attitudes towards the particular subjects. I think it can be done in 2 teaching hours at most. And with an effect, I guess, because this multiplies also to the family, since students are going, hopefully, to talk about it with their parents. And first of all, the students themselves, especially teenagers, can be sensitized towards the subject. Thank you.
Thank you. maybe Ms. Namani or Professor Vtuhi, if you would like to add anything to that. From my end, one thing I would like to add to what Ms. Christodoulou said is that it's quite useful to invite the experts in the field, particularly when we address such delicate issues, quite scientifically advanced. It's quite useful and meaningful to invite them either at school or in a project that we have, in order to give us the most updated perspective on the topic. Salama, I think that
Yes.
you to say something.
Yes, as you suggested here, it's a very good idea to do this activity. And as to say, I forgot what I was going to say.
Are any other questions for our panelists or more general ones on our topic?
Sorry, I remembered. We're going to hold a contest this year, and we'd like maybe to do it along those lines, along the lines of food and culture and healthy food, Mediterranean food.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But we still haven't specified what exactly the activity will be.
Thank you. I see in the chat that you asked for where can we find the handbook. I'm going to send you the link right now. You can search for it on our webpage under publications category. So I'm going to copy paste it now on the chat.
And may I add again the handbook for teachers for the integration of ICH in lesson plans? I have already added it since you asked me earlier, Vicky, but I can repeat if you would like me to.
Yes, please, Ms. Christodoulou, thank you very much for this. I'm also adding the handbook. Okay, here it is. Any other questions? If not, okay. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank you all for your participation today in our webinar. Thank you all for participating, and a special thanks to our panelists, Ms. Christodoulou, Ms. Namani, Professor Vtuhi, and Vera Dilari, who joined us in the beginning. And we do hope that we will see you online or physically in one of our next activities. So thank you all again, and have a very nice afternoon with a lot of Mediterranean food. Bye-bye.